Bye. Good luck.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün University of Plymouth'ta bilgisayar, bilim ve mühendislik bölümleri hakkında anadan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Anna, the stage is yours now.
Okay. Hi there. Thanks everyone for joining us here today. My name is Anna Wuttke and I work for the University of Plymouth. And I am regional manager doing recruitment work in Plymouth. And normally I would be in lovely Turkey speaking to you in person. Unfortunately, I can't do it right now, but IEFT is organizing live events again, physical events again. And I actually have my lovely colleague Alana Hunter joining you in both Izmir and all the Istanbul events as well. So if you find anything interesting that I'm speaking here about today and you want to speak with someone in person, my colleague Alana will be, as I said, at the IEFT fairs in Izmir and in all the Istanbul events as well. So I'm trying to keep the presentation as short and to the point as possible. We've got about an hour for today. I don't intend to speak for longer than 30 minutes so that you have all the time in the world to ask any questions that you have. If you have any questions, as I said in the little chat, please put them into the question box and then I'll try and get through to them in chronological order. But also you might find that I already answered some of your questions as I'm going along through the presentation. So what I will be doing is first give you a short introduction to the University of Plymouth. Then I will be talking specifically about courses, and there's a lot of them offered in our Faculty of Science and Engineering. I have given more generic presentations in this in the IEFT sessions before, but I thought today would be a good time to focus on some of the courses that we are offering in science and engineering, because about 50% of the applications that we get from Turkey would be for courses offered in that faculty. I will be talking about financial issues, so I'll be talking about the fees, living expenses, and all the scholarships that are available. And as I said, hopefully you will have a lot of questions, and hopefully I will be able to answer those questions. Right, let's start with the University of Plymouth, and let's start with the city of Plymouth. We are a medium-sized city. We have about 300,000 people living in Plymouth, which for Turkish sort of cities is probably a relatively small place when you think of Izmir, of Istanbul, or even Ankara. But for the UK, it is sort of a medium-sized city. And you are basically in a position to find everything that you would expect of a city of its size. So there's lots of cafes, restaurants, bars. There's great facilities there for our students and for everyone else who's basically living in the city. Plymouth itself has branded itself Britain's Ocean City, and I'll give you in a minute an idea why that is. We are right by the ocean. We are about 3.5–4 hours away from London. Most students would arrive into London Heathrow, and then come either by train or by bus or by car down to Plymouth. And it's about 3.5 hours to get to us. Basically, the campus is only 5 minutes away from the railway station, 5 minutes walk, so that makes it very convenient. And then the campus itself is in the city centre, and the city centre and the campus is only about 10 to 15 minutes walk from the seaside. And the fact that we are in such a lovely nature environment is one of the main attractions to our students. A lot of students actually really say, you know what, yeah, city life is great, but what I really want to do is also do something after, after cafes and after the restaurant, after the bars, do something nice on the weekend. And so the fact that we are in an outstanding, beautiful place when it comes to the location really attracts quite a few students to give you. So that's the seaside that we've seen. 15 minutes north of the city, there is a national park, one of the largest national parks in England. It's the Dartmoor. It's pretty amazing nature again that you can see there. This is pictures of the city centre. So what you see in the back here is the city centre of Plymouth. This down here is the city centre of Plymouth. So we really are ideally for those students located who want to be somewhere by the sea. This is an old part of the city. It's the Barbican. It's where a lot of bars and restaurants are, and it's very lively in the evenings. Now it is again, after COVID has become something that we are now more or less living with, and the restrictions have been lifted. So it's a very vibrant, lovely, lively place to be. And then, as I said, we have the campus, and the campus it's right in the city centre. So those buildings that you see here, this is the campus and this is the city centre. So you really, truly are a city centre campus. And as I said, it's only 5-10 minutes walk down to the seaside. As you can see, most of our buildings, hang on, let's get this over here. Most of our buildings are purpose-built. So we are a modern university when it comes to facilities. To give you an idea, this is our marine building, where we have things like a ship simulator in there. It's a 3-dimensional ship simulator for those students who want to become or join the merchant shipping industry. We have in the marine building also our ocean lab, which is state-of-the-art facility, and it's also used by companies and industry around for top secret sort of research that they are doing there. So just to give you an idea of sort of the facilities that we have here on campus, let's go back to the main campus. Here we've got the Students' Union. It's a place where a lot of our students spend a lot of their time. So we've got the shop there, Students' Union shop. We've got cafes. If you go outside, hang on. Yeah, we've got a cafe there as well. So as I said, it really is all very close together. This is a hall of residence. Give you an idea of what our, this is our education. It's not a hall of residence. It's one of our faculty buildings. And then down here, as I said, not far away at all, is the railway station. So you can see when I said 5 minutes walk, I meant 5 minutes walk. It really is very close by everything. If you want to take a look yourself, go onto our website, and you can also then check it out yourself. And what I'm doing is I'm also popping it into the chat box, the link, so you can check it out for yourself, what the facilities look like on campus. That was just a little teaser. And as I said, I do hope you make use of the facilities of just going online and check out for yourself what the campus and the city look like. So the University of Plymouth, as I said, is set in a medium-sized city of around 300,000 people living here, and we have about 20,000 students on campus, which makes us a relatively large university. And amongst those students, we have about 3,000 international students, which is a good number of international students for the size of university that we are. And our students come from around 100 and more different countries. We always welcome Turkish students on our campus, which is great. In normal years, which means non-COVID years, we would normally see between 10 and 15 new Turkish students joining us every single year. One question which is very popular with not just Turkish students, but with all students is sort of, where are you ranking wise? So I put a few things onto the slide here. Sort of with most of the Guardian, Times Higher and those rankings, we are a solid midfield university. But then last year or this year seen a new ranking, which was conducted by the Times Higher Education, and it is the impact ranking. So what that means is that what the ranking has actually done is they have looked at the impact at the real life impact on society that the university's research activities, teaching actually have. Because it's one thing to doing great research, and it's another thing to actually apply this to a proper life setting. So the University of Plymouth, together with many other universities, thousands of other universities across the world, have joined this competition of rankings. And we actually became number 23 in the world overall in the Times Higher Impact ranking. And something that we are incredibly proud of is that we actually became number 1 in the world for life beyond water. So that's got to do with the work that we are doing in marine biology, in the marine sciences. So this is something that we are, as I said, incredibly proud of. First of all, to be number 1 in the world for the marine, but also to be amongst the 25 in the world for the general overall impact that we have. And I guess one of the reasons why we have done so incredibly well in the impact ranking is that not only do we try to develop the content of what we are teaching our students as close to reality as possible, but we are working really closely with the society, with the community, and with the industry in order to develop programs and teach programs so that our students, when they graduate, really can make a change to the world. And as I put down here, as you can see, a lot of our students actually go on to long-term placements as well. They normally are around 1-year placements, again, to give them, on the one hand, a real-life work experience, but also to already learn to feed back into the real world what they have learned so far. I'm going to talk for a few seconds around what it is like now to study on campus. Now, 2021, thankfully, September 2021, saw some kind of return to normality. I know that the Turkish society is opening up again, and you are allowed to do more things that you weren't able to do in the past months, 18 months, if not longer. And you can see the same here in the UK and the same here on campus as well. Of course, safety is the most important thing for us. And so we are following all government rules and guidelines. We are strongly encouraging our students to get vaccinated. All members of staff and all students are encouraged to test twice a week to ensure that we don't have the virus that we all have learned to fear over the past 18 months. So this is what we are doing. And because, as I said, we are following government rules and guidelines, we are now allowed to have our campus open. We are allowed to have our students on campus. And so thankfully, we have seen, as I said, a return to some kind of reality. These here are student ambassadors that went down in September, mid-September, down to Heathrow to collect our new students from the airports, put them onto buses, take them down to campus. That was something we weren't able to do last year, but thankfully this year we're able to do that again. We brought our students back to Plymouth. We had a proper welcome week for them. We helped them to settle in. We helped them to, get their registration done and get the bank letters out so they can open bank accounts. And we also organized a wide range of social events for our students. Here, we took them out onto a boat, out onto Plymouth Hoe. In the back here, you can see the graduation tent. It's not a tent, it's a marquee. It's a very posh and a very big marquee because this is where the University of Plymouth holds its graduation ceremonies. But these are the new students that we see here who have just arrived. And these are the ones who have left us this year, who have graduated this year. Last year, unfortunately, all of our graduation ceremonies had to be virtual. But this year, thankfully, we have come back to a proper ceremony in person on the Plymouth Hoe in the most beautiful, as I said before, seaside setting. So there we go. This is actually some of our students from the Faculty of Science who have graduated. And for some bizarre reason, the weather is always good for our graduation week. So most of when you look around our website and you find graduation pictures, they aren't photoshopped, the blue sky, they are actually real. We seem to be incredibly lucky when it comes to graduation, because the sun is always shining. It's very different to today, because I haven't set a foot outside the house because it is absolutely hammering down with rain. But I do know that Turkey does do rain as well, because I've been in Istanbul and on many occasions been caught out by the heavy rain there. So let's talk a little bit about the subjects that we are offering in Plymouth. We are a very comprehensive university, and I'll explain in a minute what that means. It means that we are teaching a lot of different programs and a lot of different subjects. However, there's about 3 areas where we really have put our focus upon. And those 3 areas are the marine sciences, the health sciences, and the sustainability. So we have developed interdisciplinary institutes in those 3 subject areas, and those institutes bring together researchers and students from all different subject areas, from all different programs that we teach within the university. So if you look, for instance, at the Sustainable Earth Institute, of course, you have to have science students looking at sustainability, but it doesn't really make sense just to do science things if it's not accompanied by looking at legislation, by looking at how the society develops and looking at what businesses need in order to implement sustainability. So those institutes, those centers that we have within the university, as I said, they are focused on one particular point, like sustainability, like the marine world, but they do bring together researchers, academics, students from all different areas, subject areas taught at the university. So when I said we are a comprehensive university, what I meant is that we are teaching or offering programs both on undergraduate and postgraduate level, and also often on foundation level, across an incredibly wide area. So I've got them alphabetically here, so it's not which one I like better or less. And so we are starting with architecture, design, arts. We're teaching computing, engineering. We are teaching subjects in the area of humanities, chemistry, and also things like law, criminology, the society, the marine sciences, mathematics, psychology, sociology. So as you can see, health sciences as well. We are a really comprehensive university. And as I said in the beginning, I'm not going to go too much into detail about all of the programs, because that would take us a whole day to go through all of those. But I will today now just focus on some of the programs that we are offering in the wide area of science and engineering. And I hope this is why you have joined me here today, because this is something that you are interested in yourself. So in science and engineering, it's one of our 3 faculties, and as the title sort of suggests, it's a very, again, comprehensive faculty. So in there, we are teaching everything that's got to do with engineering. So we're teaching the civil engineering degrees, electrical engineering degrees, and the mechanical engineering degrees. And often you will find that those are very general degrees, but you also have specializations in there as well. So when we're looking at civil engineering, yes, we're doing the BSc and the BEng and the MEng in civil engineering, but we're also focusing on coastal engineering, so on coastal reinforcements. When we're doing computer sciences, which we offer as well, as a very general entry sort of starting point for students who are interested in computer sciences, so they can do that generally, a generic computer science program, or they can focus on something like cybersecurity or on game development. In electrical engineering, we're also offering robotics, which, by the way, is very popular with Turkish students. And then within that faculty, we also have mathematics, and there we would have to do some things like data science as well, navigation for those students who want to become seafarers, You've seen the ship simulator earlier on, so that would be for those students who are doing navigation and marine sciences. In the faculty, we also have what you would traditionally say sort of are the pure sciences, like the biological sciences and chemistry. We also have marine biology there and marine sciences, but we're also teaching earth sciences, geology, geography, and environmental sciences in that faculty as well. These are basically just the subject areas or the schools, and each of those subject areas and schools then offers a great variety of programs on both undergraduate and postgraduate level. I'm going to mention some of those programs which are particularly interesting for our Turkish applicants. As I said, nearly 50% of the applications that we have received this year from Turkey were for subjects offered in the Faculty of Science and Engineering. A lot of those would have been for postgraduate programs. That's the nature of Turkey. You tend to have more postgraduate students coming to the UK. I guess one of the reasons is because your government sponsors postgraduate studies on both master level and then PhD level as well. So it wasn't a surprise for me to see that the vast majority of applications were for postgraduate programs. And I'm going to mention, as I said, those which were also the highest popularity. So we've got the Msc Cyber Security. It's a program we have been running for many years. And it is probably one of the most, in the computer sciences, it is probably, the A star. This is the program that everyone seems to be wanting to study at the moment. The Msc Artificial Intelligence is a program that we have offered for the first time this September onwards. And I do hope that this will become a program which will be popular in Turkey, because going back to the times when I was able to visit educational fairs in person in Turkey, I do remember that there was quite a demand for artificial intelligence. So that is something that hopefully will become interesting for our Turkish students. And then we have the program, which is the Msc Data Science and Business Analytics, which is sort of a mathematical, statistical-based program, but obviously is looking at applications in the business sector. This is another program which has become incredibly popular with international students and also with Turkish students, because I do believe that it's becoming more and more obvious that, that's the industry and let's say the financial sector, but also other companies really are looking for graduates who have an in-depth knowledge on how to analyze data and acquire data sources and then put it into a business context. So this is a very popular program, as I said. We also have the Msc Autonomous System, which sort of combines areas of the electrical engineering, robotics, and artificial intelligence as well. We've been running this for a few years now, and it has become more and more popular. The Msc Electrical and Electronic Engineering, I don't need to tell you that in Turkey, electrical engineering has always been a very popular subject. So offering that as a master degree has always seen a good number of applications from Turkey. Robotics, again, it's a good, solid program for Turkey, because it is something that is quite interesting for Turkish students. And then I've got one program here, which is actually an undergraduate program, which again is one of our specializations, and that is the marine technology. It's the B-Eng and M-Eng in marine technology. It's actually a mechanical engineering program, and it is with the emphasis on marine technology. So there is a bit of marine craft building, light craft buildings in the technology in there. There is, sorry, I've lost a little. It's been a very long day. So basically, it's in the widest area of mechanical engineering, focuses on the marine environment. And last but not least, there's a few others which have seen a good number of applications. One of them is the Msc Sustainable Aquacultures. That is a program that isn't taught by many universities, so it's not a surprise that anyone who's looking into developing a speciality or specialism in aquaculture is coming to us and turning to us for that. We all know that's the same in Turkey as it is in the UK, as it is everywhere in the world, that our seas are overfished, that there is a much higher demand for fish products, and therefore we have to find different ways of meeting those demands and more sustainable ways of meeting those demands. So this is a very, very specialized program, and I do have seen quite a few applications for this program from Turkey. It might very well be that the Turkish government at the moment wants students to study this specific subject. And then we have the other programs here, the environmental geochemistry and the offshore renewable energy, which again has seen quite a lot of interest from Turkey. The offshore renewable energy, by the way, we were the first university to offer that kind of program in the UK. Right, so what do you need in order to gain entry to any of our programs? On undergraduate level, we will consider you if you have a very good lise. If you want to do any of the science, engineering related courses, we do expect you to have a maths and science background. If you don't have that background and you have at a later stage in your life said, you know what, I want to go into that field, then you can actually do a foundation with us as well. So we will look at your application on a case-by-case case-by-case scenario. For postgraduate studies, we would normally expect you to have an undergraduate, so a bachelor's degree in a related subject, and it depends on which subject you have studied and at which university you have studied. We would be normally looking between a 2.4 and a 3 from your bachelor's degree. Again, we're looking at all the applications on a case-by-case basis. So our admissions team will ask you for your transcripts, and they will ask, for sometimes maybe a little more details about the program, just to make sure that you will be successful in your studies of a specific program. As I said before, if you don't fulfill for undergraduate studies, if you don't fulfill the entry requirements, then we do have the possibility to do a foundation. And as you can see here, we're offering foundations for nearly all the programs that we're offering in the Faculty of Science and Engineering. So from biology to computing, the data sciences, the navigation, ocean sciences, mathematics. So we do offer foundations for undergraduate studies. Those that I have highlighted in red are pre-masters. That would be for students who come either with a degree which is too low, so we can't come directly into the first year, or with a degree like an associate degree and have done some additional research afterwards. So they would be able to do a pre-masters, and we do offer the pre-masters in data science and computing, and we are looking to do more pre-masters in the science and engineering as well. You will need an English language qualification. That shouldn't be a surprise for you. So the standard one would be the IELTS. For undergraduate programs, it's a 6. For postgraduate programs, it's a 6.5. We do accept the Pearsons, of course, as well. If you're doing the IB or have done the IB, then you don't need an additional English language qualification. And we also offer accept the IGCEs. If you don't meet the entry requirements, don't worry too much, because we have pre-sessional English language courses, and they depend on the level of your IELTS as well. And they are between 2 and 8 weeks courses, which you can take if you do not meet our English language requirements. All the information is on the website. So if you want to have more information about that, send me an email afterwards, and I'll send you the link to those to our pre-sessional courses. One thing that's also worth mentioning is that we don't just get you to university and drop you there, but there's a lot of additional support available for students, not just English language support, but there's other kinds of learning support available as well. But the thing that I wanted to mention here is the additional English language support, which is completely free of charge, where you can either just work on specific areas of English. So if you say, I need to improve my spoken English, I need to improve my writing. So that is something you can do. And as I said, it is completely free of charge for our students who have joined us at the university. Talking about money, we obviously ask for tuition fees. Our undergraduate tuition fees at the moment don't make a difference between whether you're doing a business degree or a science degree. So they are £14,600 a year. And the postgraduate taught programs do make a difference. So those which are classroom-based are 15,700, but all the Faculty of Science and Engineering programs are £16,700. That is per year, and our master programs are 1 year. So this is basically the cost for the master program. Those costs are pure tuition fee costs, so they do not include living. You have to calculate in addition for living expenses. And you see two figures here. One is what you will need to show for your visa if you want to get your Tier 4 visa, that you have the money available. If you're a non-sponsored student, you will have to show that you or your parents in your account have £9,200 in your account to support yourself whilst you're studying. You are allowed to work part-time. You are allowed to work up to 20 hours a week, so earn additional money as you're studying. But the visa officers will want to see that you do have enough money to support yourself, even without having to work. In reality, you will not be spending that amount of money in Plymouth. Plymouth has one of the lowest living expenses in the country. Our accommodation can be very, relatively cheap for university cities. And because we are a city center campus, you're not depending on public transport. You can walk everywhere. So this again brings the living expenses down. So in reality, we would normally say you would spend between £700 and £800 a month in Plymouth. And then you still have a very, very comfortable life. The accommodation will be your highest expense, your highest outgoing. So this is, if you need to count your pennies a little bit, this is where you can really make a difference by choosing the right accommodation for you. You will find that accommodation which is offered by the university will be more expensive than accommodation which is not offered by the university. University accommodation is between £100 and £150 a week, so between £460 and £600 a month. It includes all bills, but it doesn't include food. If you go off campus, and that can be again in a private hall or in a shared student house, there you can spend as little as £350 a month, including all bills. So it does make a huge difference. The choice or what you're choosing as your place to live whilst you're studying will have a big impact on the money that you have available. But the good thing is there is normally something in Plymouth available to meet all the needs that you might have. So there we go, and also the budgets that our students have. This just gives you an idea of what the university accommodation looks like. It's what you would expect, single beds. All of our accommodation is for one person, so you don't share any rooms. And most of our accommodation also has their own bathroom, their own suite bathrooms. And then there is extra security on campus, in the halls of residence and things as well. So this is why there's a cleaner coming in to do the kitchen and the other shared areas. So those are all additional costs which are passed on to the students who are living in halls of residence, which is why the halls of residence are slightly higher, have slightly higher prices than shared student accommodation, where you have to clean your own kitchen. So the good news is we have scholarships available, and all the courses in science and technology are offering those scholarships, and they are available both on undergraduate and postgraduate level. And we do make a difference between an automatic scholarship and a scholarship that you have to apply for. The automatic scholarship is awarded to students who exceed our entry requirements. So what that means on undergraduate level, let's say we are asking you to achieve a 75 from your lise and you achieve an 85 from your lise, then you automatically will get awarded a £2,000 reduction of your tuition fees. And if you are continuously a good student, your reduction of tuition fees will not just be in the first year, but it will be in the second and third year as well, depending on how well you are doing. And the same holds true for the Excellence Scholarship. So this is for students who really are outstanding students. So if you got a 95 or a 90 from from Elisa, or an IB points of 36, but you really would say you're an outstanding student, then we would ask you to apply for the Excellence Scholarship. There is a group of us that then, once the application have been received, we sit down and award the scholarships to students. And again, it is possible to maintain that scholarship throughout the entire duration of your studies, if you are continuing to be an excellent student in the following years. Our postgraduate scholarships for international students are basically the same model. So we're looking at an automatic £2,000 scholarship, which will be awarded if you exceed our entry requirements. So if we are asking you for a 3 GPA and you're getting a 3.1 GPA, you will automatically get the £2,000 scholarship. If you're coming from Istanbul Technical University and you've got a 3.2 or 3.3, then we would definitely say you really should apply for the Academic Excellence Scholarship, but of course from other universities as well. And again, there will be a group of us sitting together and awarding those scholarships. Before you ask, there is no specific number of scholarships that we are giving away. We basically wait and see what the applications are for the scholarships, and we are awarding as many as we really seem to deserve it. So this takes me to the end of my little talk here today. I thank you very, very much for listening so patiently, and I hope I have answered quite a few questions that you might have had. As I said, my colleague Alana will be at the physical fair, so we'll be in Izmir and she will be in Istanbul. So if you pop by to one of those fairs, do say hello to Alana. She also has material with her that she can hand out to you. And is able then to talk also much more about specific programs and other aspects of student life here in Plymouth. Right, shall we go to the questions then? There we go. Stop sharing, and I'm going to be, there we go. Questions. There we go. So what I'm going to be doing is, as I said, I'm going to try and answer those questions in a chronological order. So we had Merve asking whether, do you offer conditional offer if we cannot reach required English level? Yes. What you do, students normally apply, or many students do apply before they actually have the English language in place. You will need to have the English language in place by the time you basically get your unconditional offer, you get your CAS, your visa. So that will normally give you until July, August time to get the English requirements in place. But you will know much better than I do where your English level is, but you can apply with whatever you've got at the moment. If you haven't got any English qualification, then don't apply with it. If you got one, then apply with what you do have. And then we will issue you a conditional offer on achieving the IELTS of 6 or 6.5, and if you don't achieve that, then you have the chance to still apply for one of our pre-sessional English language courses. Ada is asking whether we can get a work permit after graduation, and yes, the good news is that last year, the UK government has introduced something which is called the post-study work visa, the graduate route. What that means is that once you graduate from a British university with any of the degrees, whether it's undergraduate or postgraduate. You can stay in the UK on that visa for an additional 2 years, and you can seek that time to seek employment. If you are planning then to have long-term employment beyond those 2 years, you will need to change your visa. You will need to come onto a different visa. But that is something which is obviously in quite some future ahead. But as a rule of thumb, you are allowed to stay and remain in the UK for an additional 2 years and seek employment once you have graduated. So then we've got the next question. If there's an application fee and can we apply for more than one program with one application? Feel free, you need to pay application fee. Okay. Is it EDGE? I'm not quite sure whether you're applying for undergraduate or postgraduate. If you're applying for an undergraduate degree, we would normally ask you to do a UCAS application. And that is something that you can do yourself. You register with UCAS and you can apply to up to 5 programs in one go. And there is a little fee for that. I think it's something like £15, so it's not massive. If you're applying for postgraduate degree, you can either do that online through our online system. All of our programs have an apply now button, and you can apply online without having to pay any fee whatsoever. Or you can also apply through one of our representatives, agents that we have in Plymouth, in Turkey, and they really shouldn't ask you to pay a fee either. So applying for postgraduate programs would normally that wouldn't cost you anything. And yes, you can apply for more than one program, but please keep in mind that you have to apply, or part of your application is a personal statement. So you would normally only apply for programs which are related to each other. So yes, you can apply for the cyber security and the artificial intelligence, but it wouldn't really make sense to apply, let's say, for the MA in Performing Arts and an MSc in Civil Engineering, if that makes sense. So is the campus in the city centre? Feza, it definitely is in the city centre. Everything is a stone throw away. So you can walk everywhere. The main shopping area, main shopping centre is basically just across the university campus. And the reason why you see me smile and looking a little bit disoriented and confused, because I'm working from home and I've got a cat who I have locked out and is now crying his eyes out outside my door. But if I let him in, he will have an appearance on the screen, which is why you will hear a cat cry in the background of this presentation. So is there any, go back to the questions. Are there any changes about start dates and application deadlines due to COVID-19? What we have done for this year, for the 2021 entry, is that we have enabled most students for those courses where it is possible to have a remote or online enrollment. So that means you didn't have to physically be here in Plymouth by the latest enrollment date, which is the deadline I think that you are referring to. But we enable students to enroll online, and where it is possible to also start their program, start their studies online. Now, the science and engineering programs, it is a little bit more difficult with them because a lot of them have practical elements and they have lab work and stuff, and there's only that much that you can actually do online. But wherever it was possible, we have extended the deadline for enrollment by enabling students to enroll online and also by having them start online. But one thing I do need to say is the University of Plymouth is not an online university. We are a university that is committed to face-to-face teaching. And so we really expect our students to come to Plymouth and to study on campus as soon as possible. But we are, of course, aware of the fact that COVID-19 still prevents some people from traveling and arriving here, and we're trying to accommodate that as much as we can. And my cat out in the front door is going mental. I'm sure he's not quite happy about that, being locked outside. So, and then we have about the question about the robotics program. And you're absolutely right. The robotics is not one of the most popular programs, but it is a very popular program because there aren't that many universities that offer robotics, because it takes a lot of investment into facilities. And so there is a limited number of universities that you can choose from to study robotics. And that itself makes it quite, a quite popular program. And we do offer robotics on undergraduate level, so the B-Eng program, which is a 3-year program, an integrated master level, which is an M-Eng program, that's a 4-year program, but also as a standalone MSc program, and that would be for students who, let's say, have got a degree in a related subject. So if you've done, for instance, electrical engineering, electronic engineering, and you now want to focus on robotics, that is something that is possible. Right. Do we have any other questions? I don't think we have. Zainab, can you see any other questions? Oh, there we go. We've got Erman asking about the assistance programs for master degree and others, and moving to job facilities, then finish your master's degree. I'm not quite sure what you mean by assistantship. I would assume you mean placements. Now, our master degree, if that's what it is, I'm going to answer it straight away. Our master degrees don't offer a placement because they are 1-year programs. But what we do is we are working very closely with the industry. And so once you, even whilst you're a student with us on campus, there will be graduate fairs, there will be industries being invited onto campus. And we have a lot of partners in industry that, take our students because they know they get really well qualified graduates into their program. So they come on campus and recruit our students as well. And we also put you into contact with previous employers or with current employers of our graduates. We're basically trying the best that we can do in order to get you a job after you graduate. I mean, nobody's going to tell you that we can guarantee you a job after you graduate. That would be, that's not something that we can do. But especially the science and engineering students have a really high employment rate, and they also, tend to find that they have a relatively high starting salary as well. Right, hang on, I need to have one little break here. I'm going to be back. So I'm back. I had to let my cat in because otherwise he would have jumped through the door. How much time for the time of working in the job and then finish university, visa politics? Can you get a number, email, contact? Yes, I'll give you my. In the beginning, I'll put my email address into the chat, and I did this again. I'm doing this again. So please feel free to send me an email if you have any specific questions that you can think of later and want me to answer. And as I said earlier on, you would normally, with your student visa, you are allowed to remain for 2 additional years in Plymouth, not in Plymouth, in the UK. Right. Are there any other questions that anyone has? I can hear some interesting background noise now.
I think you covered all of the questions, Anna.
Have I? Okay, good. Right, if that is the case, if there are no other questions, as I said, I'll put my email in there again. Do feel free to send me an email. You can also send an email to my colleagues in the international office. I'm going to give you that email as well, just in case that I'm away and can't answer your questions straight away. So I'm putting that one, international@plymouth.ac.uk. That's a more general international office email that you've got. And so if you have any questions with regards to immigration, because I saw one there and things like that, we would direct you into, to the right person to answer any questions that you have. Also, if you want any more information about the specific program, send me an email and I can answer those questions directly. And also I can send you in the direction or get you in contact with the teachers, with the academics on those programs, if you have specific content related questions. So I'm more than happy to moderate that, that kind of future conversation as well. So just please, honestly, feel free, send me an email and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. Oh, I can see there's much more. There's one more question from Erman about the accommodation. Yes, there is accommodation in the city, as I said before, and it depends on the kind of accommodation that you are choosing. We would normally say the starting for a monthly accommodation, and that is your own room. It would be within easy walking distance to the university. So 5 to 10 minutes walk. You're looking at around £400, including all the bills, but not your mobile phone bill. That is something that you would have to cover yourself. And the food bills wouldn't be included in there as well. I would normally say for someone who has to be a little bit on a budget, the absolute minimum you really should keep in mind that you will need is around £750. 650 to £700 a month as the absolute minimum to cover all your living expenses in Plymouth. You were mentioning about agriculture relevant to environmental engineering program. Can you repeat? Those were two different. Sorry, I was a little bit too fast when I went through the programs. It's not the agriculture, it's the aquaculture that I was referring to. We do agriculture, but that is predominantly, and now I have my cat on my camera, get off. We have those as research degrees and as taught degrees, but aquaculture is something that we do offer. So that's fishing, basically, fish culture, breeding of fishes, and make that sustainable. And then we also have environmental engineering degrees. That is a different one. It's taught in the same faculty, but the environmental engineering would be the offshore renewable energy engineering. That's what we would offer. What you will find on postgraduate level, Armin, is that universities will often offer very, very specialized programs because they are normally aligned to our research interests and our research focus. And so if you are specifically interested in, or if you are interested in a very specific program, then I'll send me an email again, and I'll see if you offer what you would want to do. Any other questions? No. Right. Okay, Zeynep, I think this is it. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you very much for your fantastic presentation, Anna.
Thank you very much. I do apologize if you had some strange background noises.
It's all right.
No, thank you all very, very much. Thank you all very much for coming and attending this talk. I hope it was a little bit helpful to give you an idea of what the University of Plymouth is like, what our students' life is like, what the courses is that we offer. It's always a very limited time. And so if any one of you wants to have any more information, send me an email. We can also arrange one-to-one meetings via Zoom where we can go into detail about any of the programs that you might have. And so thank you all very much. Stay all very healthy. Keep safe, and let's hope that in a not too far distant future, we will be able to have these kind of talks face to face in Turkey.
Yes, thank you very much for your answers too. You covered all of the questions.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Take care.
Also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. University of Plymouth ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adresinden Ana'ya ulaşabilirsiniz. Aynı zamanda sizi altıdaki webinarımıza da davet etmek isteriz. Thank you very much again, Anna. It was a pleasure
Thank
to have you in
you.
IEFT Talks.
Nice to meet you again. Until soon. Okay, thank you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.